What up, guys? About to start work in about 55 minutes ish. Worked out today, ran yesterday, worked on my book for a few hours yesterday, worked on my book for about an hour today. Making a good bit of progress about content wise. I'm probably mostly through chapter two, but a lot of it needs to be edited and refined and restructured, I guess, is the best way to put it. I decided that I was going to try to start running again. I have not ran consistently since about 2020, and I kind of miss it. I miss the feeling of being really bouncy. The other day, I kind of looked at myself and I realized that I was a lot fatter and a lot heavier than I really wanted to be. Um, a lot of my bulking, which I really haven't really been trying to bulk, but I've kind of just been eating whatever I want. Uh, I've been gaining a lot weight a little bit more easier now that I'm slowly approaching 30. My metabolism is still pretty good, but not as good as it used to be. I can't just throw whatever I want to at it, and I can't just train as hard as I want to. And I'm kind of to a point where I just feel like I need to lose a little bit of weight. I need to accept that I haven't reached the limit of my body, but I have to more accurately approach it if I want to make any improvements. And, I say this to say, a few years ago, I rolled my ankle from a stupid fucking thing I was doing and almost completely tore my tendon and almost had to get ankle surgery because of it. And it was the dumbest injury ever. And I'm convinced that a lot of my problems, a lot of my joint issues, and a lot of my health issues, few as they may be, are coming from the fact that I'm over 250 pounds, and that even though a lot of it is muscle, even though the inaccurate scans that you get, say that I don't even remember how many pounds of muscle I have. It was a good bit. It's still a lot of pressure that it's putting on your body. And I think I've been really worried about losing weight because I don't want to lose my strength. I like being the big, strong guy. That's just kind of how I've always known myself, but I can't do that if I'm injured or if I'm having a heart attack because I'm just eating whatever I want. So I say that to say that I'm trying to clean up my habits a little bit. The caffeine thing, it's still less than what I used to drink, but it's kind of hard for me to completely eliminate it. I'm trying to find times where I can justify having less, but it's getting harder and harder and a little bit more challenging mentally. But it's one step at a time. I don't want to go into my 30s and 40s completely unhealthy and completely incapable of bouncing back. So we're going to figure some things out. We're going to learn a couple of things about ourselves. But this writing is going pretty good. It's a it's very philosophical. It's very complicated for some people. For philosophers, not really. I don't consider myself a philosopher, but I aspire to be one. I just don't have the formal education, so a lot of the sources that I'm gathering are relatively new to me, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm not misquoting people, which is a little bit difficult. My most recent portion of chapter 2 talked a lot about moral structures, and I need to make it a little bit more concrete. I need to make it a little bit more clear exactly what I'm talking about, because by itself I think it's a pretty good portion, but I don't think it relates to what else I've been trying to express this entire time. I think what I'm trying to say is that what I should be trying to explain is how people recluse themselves into the ways of understanding and thinking in their minds, and how your understanding of what right and wrong is becomes more concrete over time, because that is the reality that you accept. So the information that you accept only really revolves around confirming those things. And because of that, you end up having more enemies and more things that you have to say are bad in order to justify your own goodness. But you also can have hypocrisy, And I think I'm also trying to express how, there are limits to what you think is right and wrong. And like, you can't really give yourself any hard rules without understanding that there are going to be some exceptions. Like, you can't say that stealing is always wrong, because there's going to be moments where your perception might be challenged a little bit. Like, you might have somebody who you can understand why they would steal, or there might be some forms of stealing that are so complicated, like, you don't understand it as stealing, or there are some things that you don't define as stealing that other people do define as stealing, and that gets a little bit wonky. But it's very interesting. It's mentally challenging, which is, I think, is what I was looking for. Even if nobody buys it, I think I'm just enjoying the process of carefully and creatively, like, looking at these problems and trying to understand it from my own point of view, and describing what I think about what other people say. But anyway, that's a life update. Not really anything else happening, so we'll figure it out.